And we are live. Hey, Karen, how's it going? Hopefully, I've overcome some of my boomer tech stuff with my new super phone, which is I used to have a Model 4, and now I have a Model 10. Everyone else has a Model 20, but I enjoy being behind the times. Um, Welcome to the show. I titled tonight's show "Only When I Laugh," which is the title of a book I read many years ago by an author named Len Deighton, who was mostly a British spy novelist. And he wrote a number of spy novels, but he wrote a book which became a film, which the film is terrible. Even though it had Alec Guinness in it, the film is a disaster. But the film Only When I Laugh is about con artists and confidence men. And in the foreword of the book, Len Deighton notices that this actually happened in the 70s, apparently. A con man sold the entire Swedish Navy to the communist Chinese for $700 million. Now, $700 million doesn't sound like a lot of money today, but in the 70s, $700 million was a lot of fucking money. Was a lot of money. And the way he did it, he just got some uniforms, and he had like one or two other people with him, and he took some representative from China up in a small plane that circled the bay wherever the Swedish Navy was at port, and he conned them out of $700 million. And they sent, like, the Chinese brought all these people to Sweden, all their sailors to Sweden, to collect their ships and stuff that they were going to sail back to China with, only to find out that they did not own those boats at all. So as incredible as it sounds, you think that's crazy, but it really happened. And whoever that person was, like a legendary con man. The implication being that there was Alphabet. He was an Alphabet guy. He was like CIA guy or something like that who did this. So that was really it was one of my favorite books for a long time. I posted on Twitter. This has been a really tough week for me because I got conned out of all my Bitcoin. And that happened Monday. I was sitting here in this room, just sitting on my phone, and my eyes were bothering me. I had some allergies, things, which turned out to be the air filter of my car was destroying my eyes. But so I'm going nowhere. It was rainy Monday. And I saw on the bottom of my feed on YouTube a live stream. And the live stream was only two people I trust in Bitcoin is Tyler and Cameron Winklevoss, the guys who run the exchange in New York where I buy the Bitcoin. And it was supposed to be a live stream, so I click on it and I'm watching it, and then I'm watching them answer questions from the audience and blah 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 back and forth. And I didn't know that it wasn't really a live stream. It was something it wasn't live on Monday. It was something from the previous week, and somebody had recorded it. And rebroadcast it, and Google and YouTube couldn't stop that. Now, Google and YouTube, we all know, if you play 15 seconds of copyrighted music, they'll just kill the stream right there. But this Winklevoss event where they did some media was like a 2-hour thing, a 3-hour thing where they were on stage answering questions, and neither Google nor YouTube could seem to catch it. Right. So I wanted to do like a share screen thing, if I can, and see if I can show you what I initially saw. This will work. This is supposed to work faster. This still doesn't work as fast as I want it to. I'm trying to shut every other than what I need. Let's go. Let's see if it's just not opening that picture fast enough for me. So I want to try to show you screenshots of exactly what it is I saw initially, and it's still not coming up. Oh, this is what resources? Okay, now that's not the one I want to see. Oh, here, this one. I labeled them too. Believe it or not, I do show prep. I labeled them. It's just that it's going to take forever for this thing to open up. but this Len Deighton novel was a really good novel. And like I said, the movie with Alec Guinness, not so good. All right, so let's share screen. Chrome tab, Gmail, share. Let's see what comes up. Yeah, so that's what it looked like. Okay, and if you can read it, it says Bitcoin joined the giveaway. Gemini Exchange believes that Bitcoin, blah 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 blah. And here's the thing about these cons is I passed 1 million of them. They're so obvious, like that you just don't even think about it. I've literally seen hundreds and never even paused for a second. But since the Winklevoss twins were up here and they were answering questions, and then you click in the show notes and you saw that, it's like, hey, send us your Bitcoin and we'll send you back double. And I believe it or not, I fucking fell for that. Well, that's not a question of belief or not belief. I just completely fucking lost my mind and did the dumbest thing ever. So with 5.86 Bitcoin, I was probably, no lie, among the top 5 people that's not already a fucking millionaire who own Bitcoin. And I don't have it anymore. It's gone. It's lost. It's one-way transaction, and there's no coming back. So that was the landing page, right? And then let's see if I can pick a different one. Just after I realized I was robbed, and I did realize I was robbed fairly quickly, this is what you see, right? And so this one, you can see that this website was in Russia. So Russian cyber thieves, which means whatever, Russian mob, which means small hats with Russian accents. And that's that. So I freaked out. Like that was a really bad time. So what I did was I went to my checking account and I looked at what's the maximum I could spend because I had some money saved, and I immediately bought more Bitcoin. And then I had some emergency cash in my gun safe, which I took the next morning and deposited in the bank. And as soon as the ATM swallowed it, I bought more Bitcoin. Then I sold 3 of my guns. I sold my AR, I sold the .22 rifle, and I sold a pistol. And I got about $1,200 for the 3 of those. And then as soon as I digitally sent that check off to my bank and bought more Bitcoin. So I went from having 5.86 Bitcoin to having half a Bitcoin. And my checking account is about as low as it can go without incurring fees and a bunch of other shit. So I completely, I was on track I was on cloud 9. I was dreaming about all the things I was going to do at the height of this coming cycle. I was going to buy a house and go into the Mediterranean and travel a lot, but that's not going to happen now. 5.86 Bitcoin. Yeah. Currently, at today's price, or the current price at this moment, which is $11,800, it would be about $69,000. By the way, the first alcohol I've had since I didn't have, this is my first drink since this happened. Yeah, the calculator over 68,000 right now, but the price of Bitcoin is going to skyrocket in this next year. I've said this before. By this time, well, maybe not this time next year, but yeah, it's October, late October. By December of 2021, the price of Bitcoin. Listen, yeah, you think that's bad? Listen to me. By December of next year, 2021, it's not unreasonable. It is not unreasonable to think that each Bitcoin will be worth $170,000 $170,000 to $320 per Bitcoin. That may sound insane, but we live in an insane world. Remember, we live in a world where there's a reality TV star that's the president of the United States, and communists shoot American citizens on the streets of, on the streets of Portland, in Denver, and nobody bats an eye. So we're living in an extremely crazy time. But I got conned, and to be honest, anyone can get conned. And I started thinking about Bernie Madoff, who was the greatest con man of all, or at least recent era. Bernie Madoff conned people for a total of about $50 billion. That's 50 billion with a B. And there's a list of some people he conned, which I wrote down. He conned HSBC Bank, was the Hong Kong Hang Seng Bank of China, for $1 billion. Santander Bank of Spain for $3.1 billion. The co-founder of Bed Bath & Beyond got conned, but he doesn't say how much. Mort Zuckerman, the owner of the New York Daily News, got conned, but he doesn't say how much. Some guy named Richard Springer from Miami, a professional investment analyst, invested $11 million with Bernie Madoff, 95% of his net worth, and of course, he got conned for everything. Elie Wiesel of Holocaust fame, right, of the Holocaust, he got conned for $37 million. So Elie Wiesel, as we all know, is a con man, and he got conned. And you would think that they'd be able to recognize each other, right? You'd think that they'd be able to, that a con man would be able to spot a con man. But the owners of Stop and Shop supermarkets were conned, and Saul Katz, the owner of the New York Mets, was conned. There was a number of others, but those are listed of some of the people who got conned by Bernie Madoff, who lost money with Bernie Madoff. People supposedly smarter than me and more savvy than me. There was one guy I remember. I don't remember the guy's name, but I always remember this story because at the time I was still driving taxis, and I thought it was the craziest thing. There was some Manhattan socialite, a man who was worth $30 million, and he lost $20 million to Bernie Madoff. And so he still had $10 million, right? Plus whatever his Manhattan apartment or whatever, right? And it came out that he got conned by Bernie Madoff. And within less than a year, this man, who still had $10 million in the bank, committed suicide. And it's one of the things about con man stories and the illusion of con man is that they say it's a victimless crime, but it's not, because many of the victims of this type of crime cannot cope with the shame and the humiliation and the self-recrimination of being conned, and they don't tell anyone. They try to hide that, and those enormously powerful negative feelings destroy them, literally destroy them. So, and I remember at the time thinking, this guy still has $10 million in the bank. Why did he kill himself? Why didn't he just get on a cruise ship and go cruise around the world for a year and then come back? But he couldn't take it. You know, you're a Manhattan socialite. You can try to imagine that lifestyle. Everybody knows you. You're a big shot, the doorman, all the restaurants you go to, the opera, the museums, all that stuff. You know, everyone knows who you are, and now your name's in the Daily News that you got conned by this guy and lost 2/3 of your fortune. He probably thought he could never leave his apartment ever again, and he ended up killing himself. So, and that jumped immediately into my mind, and I said, oh, as much as I really don't like fucking talking about this shit, I'm thinking, you know what? I better be upfront about this because I'm already too stressed. Like, I work too hard as it is. I'm too stressed as it is. I can't. I'm not going to try and win that internal struggle. You know, too many people have lost that before. So, if I tell people about it, one, it may help you be smarter than me, or not smarter. It's not smarter, because what ultimately happened is these guys, they found a way to get into my head, right? There was one Spanish guy I talked to. I tried to tell him I got conned. He said, you got hacked. I said, no, I didn't get hacked. Nobody hacked anything. I got conned. He said, so basically you got hacked, you know, because it's Bitcoin and it's the internet. So you must have been hacked by Russian hackers. And it's frustrating to try and talk to this guy, although he was kind and was trying to comfort me. Mrs. Assad in the chat, 10 million could probably run out quickly in New York City if you used to. So, come on, 10 million. You put that in a real estate investment trust, you know, earning 5%, and you could still have You could still dine out every night. You know what I mean? Every night for the rest of your life and have pretty girls on your arm as much as you want. Manhattan's expensive, but it ain't that expensive. But the point is that guy was a 1%er in life, and when he got hit, he just crumbled, and I decided I'm not going to crumble. And amongst the things that helped me is one, that I still exercised when I worked, just like I always did. I woke up and I exercised just as hard as I ever did, and I did all my routines just the way I always do. And this week is just throwing myself into work has given me a little bit of has given me enough breathing room that no matter every time I look at the price of Bitcoin for the rest of my life, I'm going to go times 5.86. That's what I lost. I have half a Bitcoin now, and you know, part of the reason why I had a bunch of things wrong in my head. This is where is it? What am I not supposed to show? Okay, wait a minute. Let me stop this. Let me remove this. Back to just me. Hello. Remove. Okay. This is a 1099 form that I got. That is, I don't know if you can see it. How am I going to hold it right there? That number, come on. This is so tough to do backwards. There's a number. If I would hold it steady, there's a number here that whatever. When I had $47,000 worth of Bitcoin, the IRS sent me a bill for $9,500, and I didn't even fucking sell anything yet. I was just holding it, and they sent me a bill for $9,500. So that's why I took the Bitcoin off the exchange, because I didn't want to pay taxes. I didn't want to be taxed on income I didn't technically even have. It was still theoretical income. It was not realized capital gains. It was unrealized capital gains. And I thought, holy shit, the fucking government's insane. So in running from the government, I ended up, we're running into some worse thieves. But, and this is a thing about there's a group of people, Bitcoin people are called ANCAPs, or anarcho-capitalists, and they're retarded dreamers who are not ready for the real world. But, so yeah, I had done some things that, anyway, these people managed to find the only people trustworthy in this space. And that's what they do. They distract you. They get you not thinking about, to drop your guard, and they get you to behave in ways that you would not normally behave. So really fucking bad week. Really not a good week. You know what I mean? If I was 25, I would tell myself I could come back. I could bounce back real fast, but being 55 doesn't feel like I'm going to bounce back, but not as fast and not as hard. So we got to keep going. I put a link in the show notes to my BitChute. I got a BitChute channel, which I've had for a little while, but I didn't really do anything with. So I started uploading some videos there, mostly stuff that's like hate speech and whatever, double plus on good stuff, a lot of short videos. I did upload the debate between me and Duvid, the Athens versus Jerusalem. So it's back up on the internet. It's on YouTube because, of course, YouTube would take it down in 2 seconds. But it's back up there. If you ever want to look at it again, or you want to show somebody like, hey, this guy's watch this guy tear up Duvid, who's admittedly, he's a minor e-celebrity, but he is an e-celebrity, right? So, you could watch that again as a rerun if you ever have an extra 2 hours to kill and want to hear me, ban stupid. So yeah, the link to my BitChute is down below. And then a couple of things. Obviously, I've been thinking about money in the future and a whole bunch of things again and again and round and round and round and round. What is hate speech? Hate speech is anything that is truthful about the small hat mafia. Anything that is truthful about the small hat mafia or their proxies, that's hate speech. Okay. I've mentioned in the past that like Donald Trump's bellicosity towards China was driven by the Jews, right? That they don't want to bend the knee to Tel Aviv, and they want to do their own thing, and that's why the Jews want uh, Donald Trump to destroy China somehow, right? And Trump's like, oh, this China virus. They're saying this China virus, this China virus. That's bullshit. That's a psyop. That's this. We all know it's a psyop. Right? We know it's a psyop, but you don't. I understand now what's behind it because some again Bitcoin people who think very differently from political people kind of showed me something that I wasn't paying attention to. And what is that? One of the things I have on the let me see if I can go back to my this. There we go. One of the things that here we go. All right, and we're going to share screen. There we go. Can you see that little Chinese girl? Okay, in a moderately skimpy outfit. She's standing up on a stage in front of a giant wave pool full of young Chinese dudes. And there's a big hose here spraying water, and there's music. It's a TikTok video. It's a 30-second video. There's a number of girls up there, and they're pumping their fists, and you're hearing this like techno music, and the wave pool is going. The video and the still, which this is taken from, was from Wuhan, China, in August of this year. So nobody wearing a mask, everybody in the wave pool, everybody having fun. They're free, you're not free. And people are getting wound up like, oh, the girls aren't that hot, or they have no curves, or why is everybody wearing life vests when they're in 3 feet of water, or blah, 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 blah. And you're missing the point entirely. This is China right now. You're not seeing anything out of China anymore, right? Although they're dropping dead and blood squirting out of their eyes, that's all gone. All those videos are gone. You haven't seen anything like that in a year, right? But you still believe it. Well, this is China today. And this is the China that Donald Trump's going to punish. Oh, he's going to punish them. He's going to get them for the virus. And that's not what this is about at all. The American economy is absolutely fucking destroyed. And what's called the velocity of money, how fast money moves around the economy, is plummeted. Nobody's spending any money, right? When they started pumping out trillions into the stock market to make sure stock market investors didn't lose any money, they thought that would stimulate the economy. It didn't. Then they sent out $1,200, which people immediately spent, which sort of brought the economy back, but we're nosediving again. We're going to fall back into recession, then depression, and then rich people are actually going to lose money. But not China. China reported that its third quarter gross domestic product, third quarter economic growth is 4.9%. And you could say, well, that's communist Chinese propaganda. They're lying, this, that, and the other. But they're not. They're not. And why not? We got to go back to China and the social credit system and all that stuff. There was a stream I did. I was on Jonathan Poll's channel back in the day. I got clipped by Bernard Brightson. It's me, Jonathan Poll, Eki Lux, and Holly. And we're talking about drinking cockroach milk and eating cricket sandwiches. I ended up getting clipped for that. And like your social credit score is too low for them to sell you a glass of cockroach milk. And you're like, you have to beg them. You're like, what did I say wrong? Please, turn my bank account back on, that kind of thing. We were joking about that back then, but now it looks like prophetic. Now it looks like we were predicting the future, right? Well, and everyone was initially talking about China's social credit score. But here's the thing that they're not talking about, what in the crypto community, in the Bitcoin community is called airdrops. What are airdrops? Airdrops is when people just send money out to your phone. I've mentioned this with the U.S. Federal Reserve, going to have a bank account for every American, and they're just going to throw money into your bank account as stimulus. Well, as soon as the economy slows down and starts falling backwards, they're just going to print more money, not print. It's not going to be actual bills. They're going to electronically create money out of thin air and shoot it into your bank account so you can spend it. That way the economy doesn't shrink. That way the stock market never falls. That way we never go into recession, which sounds great until it's not. The thing is, China's way ahead of us with this. That's why China's GDP is 4.9%, and they ain't messing with this COVID bullshit no more, right? They're not They're done. They're at the water park. They're having a blast. Now you may not think, you may think like, a million thirsty Chinamen staring at four skinny girls, four A-cup girls with no hips is not exciting, but you didn't go to communist China. That's enormous. And that's more freedom than you have right now. There's almost no one in America, well, Florida maybe, but that's living like that. All our freedom's been taken from us. The economy's dying everywhere, and the Chinese are roaring ahead. And this is what is panicking Washington, D.C. and Tel Aviv. That's what it is. That's what it is. That's what it is. It has nothing to do with the virus. It has to do with China learning how to stimulate domestic consumption, which they never did before. China's economy was always an export economy. You sent them raw materials, they sent you back finished goods. It may be cheap junk, but it was finished, right? You bought the cheap junk from China. You send them iron ore, they send you back wrenches. You send them petroleum products, they send you back plastic toys. Used to, right? Whatever, right? So that's what it used to be, only an export economy and nothing else. There was no internal demand because the Chinese hang on to their money and they buy a lot of gold and they hang on to gold. So China, in order to be strong internationally, you need an export economy and you need a strong internal economy. And they have figured out how to do that. And that's with airdropping money right onto your phone. Wow, sorry to hear about the transmission go down in your car. I would buy a Toyota in the future. I've always had good luck with them, and get the Carfax and try to find the car that somebody loved. That is to say, one owner car. They do exist. You can get the Carfax, one or two owner cars. If more than two people have owned the car before you, don't buy it. Don't buy it. Don't buy it. Do not buy it. So and look towards Toyota products, particularly they have particularly excellent transmissions. Speaking of which, I was going to talk about I think he's a Polish guy on my job. They keep wanting us to buy these small trucks. I don't want to buy a small truck. I own a little hatchback car, a Toyota Matrix. This guy sold his car, took out an SBA loan for 30 years to buy one of these trucks. He bought a 2019, it's a Ford something, Ford Transit van, $26,000, right? And he's got a loan that's like a 30-year loan on the truck that's not going to last 3 years, but whatever. The transmission went in the first year. He doesn't have the truck anymore. It's been in the shop. They're going to fix it under warranty eventually, but he hasn't had it for months. In the meantime, he has a friend with a limo company, that can't find limo drivers. So he's renting one of his friend's limos to do courier work for like $50 a day or something like that. It's like, that's how insane it is. This guy is so deep underwater, it's insane, and he's not getting ahead. That's what's happening all over America, and the Chinese have figured that how to solve that, and that scares the shit out of Washington, D.C. That scares the fucking shit out of Washington, D.C. And that's the real reason for Trump. I'm going to get China. You ain't going to do shit, you punk. You got nothing to do. There's literally nothing you can do. But what is Trump doing? Obviously, he's trying to win re-election. But why is he trying to win re-election? The Trump family wants to become the Kennedy family, right? Or the new Kennedy family. And what's important about the Kennedy family is that they were power brokers for decades and still are. Not good to take out a loan. Yeah, they're probably not good to take out a loan. That's true. Do not take out a loan, and try not to change your cat either, because that can be weird. I don't know what kind of cat changing you have. I don't know what that means. So Donald Trump wants his family to be power brokers like the Kennedys were power brokers. And if you can remember, if you can hop in the Wayback Machine and go all the way back to 2008 when Barack Obama was running for president and he was trying to win the DNC nomination. If you recall, Ted Kennedy endorsed him at the DNC convention, right? I don't know if you remember that. Ted Kennedy actually had he was in the hospital for a brain tumor. You remember? Kennedy dying of a brain tumor, and he came out on stage with his head wrapped in fucking gauze, and he gave a speech to fucking how great Barack Obama was, and I was like, what the fuck? I remember looking at him thinking, dude, you got fucking weeks to live. What the fuck are you doing? Like, how could you be so power mad? And a lot of people said that, but we had it all wrong. Had it all wrong. You got to remember that behind the scenes, there's always a fucking other deal. So what? So Kennedy, the senior whatever guy who's on his deathbed, endorses Barack Obama. Obama gets the nod from the DNC, and then goes on to win the White House. What happened afterwards? Obama was like, everything's going to be solar panels, the green economy, blah, 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 right? That was everything with solar panels, solar panels, solar panels. Guess what? There was a solar company in Massachusetts called Solyndra, and that the Kennedy family was heavily, heavily invested in. They got a $1 billion with a B, $1 billion grant from the Department of Energy for their solar panel factory, which the money kind of went somewhere. Nobody really knows. Nobody really investigated. And shortly, like a year or two after we're all going to have solar panels, Solyndra went out of business. Nobody ever investigated where that $1 billion went. So now the question is, why did Ted Kennedy endorse Barack Obama? He did it not because he loves Democratic policies or part, but because there was a deal made that the federal treasury would be opened up to the Kennedys, and they would get a big slice of fucking money if they put this fucking guy in. They did their part to put this guy in the White House. So what Trump is trying to do is he's trying to insert himself into this elite, and the current elites don't want him there because the Kennedys are like on their way down, and they could push him aside, and Trump senses an opportunity. He could get in there. His son, any one of his sons, his grandsons, and shit. The Trumps could be power brokers in American politics, and which is still the largest economy on the planet for a very long time to come. So it's very ambitious what he's doing, and that's all he's doing. That's all he's doing, and his playing to the crowd endlessly is about building up the mythos that everyone loves the Trumps, the way everyone loved the Kennedys, right? He's just going to avoid catching lead like JFK and RFK did, and so far he's avoided it. So that's what's really going on behind the scenes. China has cracked, at least in the short term, how to fix their domestic economic problems. And they are way ahead of America in this, and America is shit fucking scared. Okay? Shit scared. Okay, come back to me. I'll get rid of that. What are we going to do now? Blah, 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 blah. So, okay. We'll do this. But the thing about not noticing things that are obvious, we all miss stuff. I talk about that. Talk about selective attention all the time, and nobody wants to believe that they're subject to it. But again, I put a link to the selective attention test in the show notes, and you should take that test again, because you think you've passed it, but you haven't. Today, it's slicker. Like me, I got conned with a YouTube, with a live stream. It wasn't really a live stream. There were bots in the chat. There was no live people in the chat. It was all robot bots, right? That looked like the chat was going like crazy. There were a number of things which caused, like I said, caused me to drop my guard and behave in a way that I would never normally behave, okay? They're slicker in the technology that they deploy, but it's the same thing. Ultimately, they get you to trust people you should not trust and take actions you wouldn't normally take, okay? And that cost me a lot of fucking money. In the olden, back in the days, the alphabets had to do things differently. And this was recently on Twitter, and it was great fucking, the best fucking picture I ever saw. This is so beautiful. This is maybe one of the best images ever, right? So here it is, the KKK, the evil KKK, oh, burning the cross. Oh my God, oh, this is terrible. Ah, run away. Well, No one ever questions like what a beautiful photograph this is, like how well photographed, right? Look at it's really, really well photographed. If only you could see it up close, that would be interesting, right? If only there was some interesting bit to the photo that you had, you could look closely. Hey, what the fuck? What's going on here? Here's a Ku Klux Klan guy with a white hand. Here's a Ku Klux Klan guy with a white hand. Here's a Ku Klux Klan guy. What the fuck? Is he wearing a glove? Excuse me, Grand Kleagle. You seem to have a rather heavy tan right there. Yes, it's what you think it is. It's a black guy, a Negro in the Ku Klux Klan. Now, don't say that the Ku Klux Klan is a backwards looking organization. They are quite progressive, and open to many different viewpoints. The Ku Klux Klan is so inclusive, you can be black and be in the Ku Klux Klan. If that's not the American dream, I don't know what is. You know what I mean? That's America. That just fills me with patriotic fervor. The other thing, once you look close, because I cropped the photo, this is on the left-hand side of the photo, the left-hand side of that cross, but it's super obvious. White hand, black hand, white hand. And they all got this guy, theoretically, if you say it was a shadow, these two guys should have light hands and this one should be black. But this guy's skin is darker than this guy's skin, and he's further away from the light, from the flame, et cetera, et cetera. So this is like a scare. This is a scare quotes picture that's been out there for decades, right? And people believed it and never bothered to look. Okay, but when you look in the back of photos, when you look deeper, you see stuff. You're like, oh my god, this is so freaking obvious. But since you trust it, you don't question it. That's why you got to question all these details. The other thing about the Ku Klux Klan that they always tell you is that it's low class, poor white people who hate blacks for no reason other than their skin color. But they're all generally poor, uneducated white people who are from difficult economic circumstances. But if you look at these guys' feet, that's also very telling as well, right? If you look at their feet, none of them are wearing, they're not wearing overalls or jumpers or anything like that. They're not wearing work boots. They're all wearing suit pants and wingtip Oxfords. They all came from an office to stand in the field, unless it was dress up your best and bring your best black buddy to the Ku Klux Klan meeting, right? So this is the kind of thing this works. My point is, this is a low tech version of this sort of thing that worked for many decades, and now today the internet, they have a lot more sophisticated tools. And since we're constantly attached to these fucking screens, they can get in your head and they can fuck with you really badly. In my case, pretty fucking badly. But when I think about how people overreact to everything they see online, you got to stop doing that. They want you to do that. They want you to go crazy and do stupid shit. And it's just online. It's not real. It's just online. Okay. If you make the mistake of blurring the line between the two, like I did, it can be very costly. Now, it cost me money. I didn't get thrown in jail. I'm not going to prison for some stupid shit. But you have to find a way to say that's just online. Like our friends from the Not Fucking Around militia, right? Nobody knows who the fuck that is. Nobody on TV knows who that is. My family doesn't know who that is. People who watch Fox News, they don't know who that is. That's nowhere. That's a psyop just for social media, just for Twitter. We know who that is, and nobody else knows who that is. Literally, right? So understand there's a lot of effort being made to get you to do stupid shit. Speaking of which, Devon Stack from Black Pilled, who I used to follow on Twitter, I don't follow him anymore, and I used to follow on YouTube, but I unsubscribed from his YouTube channel. He's still on Gab. I forgot to unfollow him on Gab. He's fucking fed posting like a motherfucker on Gab. He's like, you remember the time when Jesus failed to do what was moral because he was afraid of what was legal. And I'm like, what the fuck? That's the most Fed posting thing ever. And he doesn't post a whole lot there. He's only got like 4,500 followers there. Even though there's people on Gab that have 20, 30, 40,000 followers. He has not that many on Gab. And so I was like, yeah, keep Fed posting. And then all of a sudden, 2 minutes later, somebody accuses me of being a Fed, you know? And I'm like, oh yeah, all right. So it's real fucking, it's super obvious that guy's a fucking Fed and a twat, you know? Don't do anything that's illegal. Understand what the law is where you live and stay within the law. You know, when you see the stuff, these Antifa going to people's houses and whatever, don't come out of your house with a gun. Don't do that. Don't do that. It's probably not legal. Okay. If you stay in your house and they break in your door, like they break in Tucker Carlson's door, where you live, especially if you live in a red state, you're probably going to be okay if you use lethal force. Someone broke into my house to kill me and my family. I defended myself. If you go outside your house and you're waving a gun around, right? And you're waving a gun around, that looks aggressive, and it may technically be legal, but the street fight is only the first fight. Then you're going to be arrested. Guaranteed, you're going to be arrested if you shoot somebody. If you shoot another human being, you're going to be arrested in America. Period. End of story. And you're going to have to answer in court about that. Period. End of story. Even if it's a formality, you're going to have to do this. So think that through. It's beyond this immediate incident, or what you perceive to be the immediate threat. Then there's the arrest. That's going to feel humiliating. Oh, your neighbor's going to be staring at you as you sit in the back of a police car with the fucking lights going and everyone looking at you like you're a fucking creature in the zoo, right? And, oh, dude, you're going to be in jail with a bunch of criminals and you're not a criminal. And you can think you're going to talk your way out of it. You're not going to talk your way out of it. And then all of this shit's going to happen and you're still going to have to go to court and it's going to be a disaster. So don't go outside your house waving a gun around. It's going to go badly. And we know that the courts are wildly fucking corrupt and slanted. You need to be 100% inside the fucking law. 100%. And then really think about how much force is necessary to defend yourself. Be smart. They're constantly putting this shit in front of us. Constantly. Do not get hysterical. Do not let what you see on Twitter influence what you do in real life. If you have security concerns in real life, address them in real life. Don't fucking make don't mix and match Twitter with reality, because there's likely to be a disaster. It's likely to be real fucking disaster. All right. What else? What else do I got? Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, okay. So the Bitcoin people and anarcho-capitalism. These people imagine that they're going to, I don't know how they think they're going to sell their Bitcoin without paying taxes. There are local meetups where you can sell Bitcoin, but if you think there ain't going to be dudes with guns there, when you decide to sell your one Bitcoin for $100,000 or $200,000 or $300,000 and for cash, and to cut the government out. I have experience with that thinking. It was a very expensive mistake. You're going to find yourself like chained to a fucking radiator with people chopping off your fucking fingers with diagonal fucking pliers, and you will give up everything real fucking easy. You know what I mean? And they'll go to your fucking house and do that shit to your family. And you don't think they will? Like, they're too low IQ to understand. They understand robbing shit, okay? And so what that means is all you ANCAP, Bitcoin, crypto people, you're going to buy and sell on the exchange. When you sell, if you sell at a profit, you're going to have to pay tax. That's the reality. So don't think you're going to, I'll fly to Brazil. What do you think they'll do to you in Brazil? Dude, you'll be out of the country. No one will even know what happened to you. These ANCAP retards are gonna come up against reality hard. And that's that's inevitable. That's going to happen. But where are we? coming up on an hour. I want to keep this relatively short. Somehow my viewers dropped to 0, even though there's people technically still in the chat. YouTube fucking with me, I guess. But with that, I suppose we could start winding down. But yeah, all of the driving forces in America are economic now, whether you see it or don't see it. They drive everything, politics, everything. And you need to be smarter about how you're going to protect yourself and how you're going to position yourself to not get crushed. And if that means, I know a lot of people, well, whatever's here from my previous audience, you're not into Bitcoin. Maybe you're going to buy gold or you're going to do something else. You need to think about what that's going to look like, because eventually hyperinflation is going to come, and we're desperately chasing the Chinese, who have figured out how to get their economy growing at nearly 5% per quarter, while our economy is dying nationwide. You know, Trump can't get no money past Congress, and he can't get no money nowhere. And the Federal Reserve is not ready with the digital dollar yet. And the Chinese are just going leaps and bounds ahead. And this is scaring the fuck out of a lot of people in power, because they don't want to be second. They don't want to be second fiddle to the Chinese, and they don't want the Chinese to be even strong enough to challenge them. Right? So think it through. Everything else is bullshit. There's no incentive for anything. I mean, you want to pretend to be hysterical over shit online, I guess, whatever. But straighten your fucking head out, like fucking pronto. Okay, Antifa's not coming for you. They're really not. You know, stop reacting to things online as if they're real. Again, like I said, my recent experience, life changing in a very negative way. Will I bounce back? Yeah, somewhat. Like I said, I got slightly more than half of Bitcoin. Which, when the cycle tops out in December of next year, I'm going to sell, take as many tax write-offs as I can, wait for it to settle back down, and then get back in. It's a 4-year cycle thing. If you're interested, you can find it, information online. But if you think Bitcoin, if you think gold is the way to go, buy gold. But actually buy the actual physical fucking thing and hang on to it. But understand, when you sell it, you're going to sell it and you're going to pay tax on it. You know? So there's not going to be a way to avoid this. There's no free lunch. Okay. So can I laugh about this? No. The thing about the Len Deighton novel, Only When I Laugh, the cover had a big fat guy who was painted like an African warrior. There's all these spears sticking out of him. 50 spears sticking out of him. And someone sees the guy, he's dying, he's got 50 spears sticking out of him. They said, "Does it hurt?" And he said, "Only when I laugh." So, yeah, that's where things are at right now. And I guess, 55 minutes. I will let you guys out. And thanks for showing up. I will play the outro music, and let's see what happens this week. I will talk to you guys later.